Hey everyone, welcome back to Shey's Microbiology. I'm Shey Fortune and today we are diving into something really exciting, the structure of bacterial cells. Now, this is one of those topics that can feel a bit abstract at first, but don't worry, we are going to make it super clear and relatable. Because honestly, once you understand how a bacterial cell is built, everything else in microbiology starts to make sense. So yeah, let's make science simple because learning should actually connect to real life, right? Alright, so by the end of this lesson, here's what you'll be able to do. You'll be able to differentiate between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, that's bacterial versus human type cells. Identify the main structures of a bacterial cell, explain what each part actually does, its function, connect structures to survival like how these features help bacteria cause disease or adapt, and finally, apply this knowledge to medical and lab practice because this is where real science meets real life. So let's jump right into it. Alright, so let's talk about bacteria now. Bacteria are what we call prokaryotic organisms, meaning they don't have a true nucleus like our cells do. Their DNA just kind of floats freely in the cytoplasm, like an open workspace, not locked in an office. And honestly, that's what makes them so efficient. They can survive in crazy places, boiling hot springs, icy glaciers, even radioactive waste. They are like the minimalist survivors of the biological world. Small, simple, but incredibly powerful. So yeah, bacteria may look simple, but they are basically built for survival. Now, let's compare prokaryotic versus eukaryotic cells because this is one of those core concepts that will keep coming up again and again. So think of prokaryotes, that's bacteria, as the simpler model. No true nucleus, no fancy organelles, their DNA is just one circular loop floating around. On the other hand, eukaryotic cells like human or plant cells are bigger, more complex and have compartments. They've got the real nucleus, mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum and all that good stuff. Prokaryotes divide by binary fission, quick and simple. Eukaryotes, they go through mitosis or meiosis. More steps, more regulation. So yeah, one is a simple version, the other is the upgraded deluxe version. But don't underestimate the simple one because bacteria can multiply way faster than us. Now, let's take a closer look at what's actually inside the bacterial cell. You've got a few key structures that we'll talk through one by one. The cell wall gives shape and protection. The plasma membrane, the barrier that controls what goes in and out. The cytoplasm, where all the chemical reactions happen. The nucleoid, that's where the DNA lives. The ribosomes, little protein factories, and finally some extra parts like flagella, pili, and capsules. These are like accessories that help bacteria move, stick, or hide. Each one plays a role. And once you get this, you understand how bacteria survive and cause disease. So let's start with the cell wall. It's like the bacterial armor. It gives the cell its shape, protects it from bursting, and helps it survive in different environments. The wall is made of something called peptidoglycan, which is unique to bacteria, and that's actually a big deal because many antibiotics like penicillin attack peptidoglycan. Now, we divide bacteria into two groups based on their cell walls. The gram-positive bacteria, thick peptidoglycan layer, gram-negative bacteria, thinner wall but with an extra outer membrane. That difference affects how they react to antibiotics and stains. It's literally how we identify them in the lab. So yeah, the cell wall isn't just a structure, it's a survival strategy. Next, we've got the plasma membrane. Think of it like airport security. It controls what enters and leaves the cell. It's semi-permeable, so only certain molecules can pass. That's how the cell maintains balance. Then inside, we have the cytoplasm, a jelly-like mix where all the chemistry happens. It's where enzymes do their work, where nutrients are processed. You can think of it as the cell's factory floor, busy, efficient, and always active. Now, Let's talk about the nucleoid and ribosomes. The nucleoid is the region where the bacterial DNA is found, not wrapped up in a membrane, just chilling in the cytoplasm. That's where all the genetic instructions live. Then we've got the ribosomes, the little machines that make proteins. Bacterial ribosomes are a bit smaller than ours. They are called 70S ribosomes, but they work fast. And fun fact, some antibiotics target bacterial ribosomes specifically, which is how they stop protein synthesis without harming human cells. So again, simple structure but brilliant function. Let's look at the bonus features that make bacteria extra smart. The capsule is like a slimy coat that protects the bacteria from being eaten by immune cells. It helps them stick to surfaces too. Think of dental plaque, that's bacteria with capsules hanging out together. Then there is the flagella, that long tail that helps them move. Some bacteria swim towards food or away from danger. Yes, they actually sense and move accordingly. And the pili, tiny hair-like structures that help bacteria attach to surfaces or even share DNA with other bacteria. That's how antibiotics resistance spreads sometimes. Pretty clever, right? Why this matters? Now you might be thinking, okay Shey, that's cool, but why does all this matter? Well, here's the thing. Once you understand bacterial structure, you understand how diseases work and how drugs act. You will know why certain antibiotics target specific structures, why some bacteria resist them, and how lab tests identify them. This foundation helps you connect what you see in the lab to what happens in the body. It's literally the starting point of medical microbiology. Alright, let's wrap this up. Bacteria are prokaryotes, simple, no nucleus but incredibly efficient. Each structure has a specific role, from protection to movement to metabolism. Comparing bacteria to eukaryotes helps you understand human cells better too. And every structure you just learned about, from the wall to the ribosome, will matter when we start talking about antibiotics, growth and infection. So yeah, you've just built another solid foundation in microbiology. And that's it for today's episode. In our next video, we are going to explore how bacteria grow and multiply. We will talk about binary fission, growth phases, and what makes them spread so fast. So if you found this helpful, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And let's keep making science easy, visual, and fun. Because remember, the smallest things make the biggest impact.